13 days after Max takes yet another dominant victory in the Italian Formula One Grand Prix, we're back at the home of the most famous Grand Prix and circuit in the world, possibly, arguably, on a beautiful sunny afternoon. Great to have your company. This is round 2 of the 2023 European Formula 4 Championship. An all-new innovation for the world's most competitive junior motorsport category, a 3-round series for 2023. 30 cars on the grid, 3 rounds. We started at Mugello. This is round 2 here at the home of the Italian Grand Prix, as we just mentioned, before we conclude at Barcelona next month. A beautiful sunny afternoon. We'll try and catch up with a couple of drivers. I can tell you a sensation this morning with fast Freddie Slater on debut on the continent, taking pole position for race 1 of 3 this weekend here at Monza. Firstly, let's go down and hear from the Swiss driver from Zurich. It's Tina Hausmann, who's with Laura Kohler.
So Tina, a difficult start to the year, but you are coming on stronger with a great 10 start. Your best of the year. What did you expect from race 1?
Well, yes, we didn't have the best start to the season because we did not test a lot pre-season, but now, as you can see, we made a big step forward, and from this race, honestly, I just want to have a clean race, and I don't really have expectations. I just want to be happy at the end of the race.
Do you like this track?
Sorry?
Do you like this track?
Yes, I like Monza. Monza is a very special track, very historical, so it's a pleasure to race here, and I'm really proud.
Thank you.
Tina Hausmann in car 21 starts out of grid 10 on this 30-car grid, her best qualifying session of 2023 in the European and the Italian Championship. As the teams leave the grid, we'll try and catch up with 1 or 2 more drivers, time permitting. But just getting back to Freddie Slater, takes pole position for race 1, round 2 here in the Euro Championship. But let's hear from the Sicilian, Alfio Spina.
So Alfio, you started the season with a podium, and today, starting from the 5 rows, can you get it again?
Sì, ho raggiunto il podio a Imola e adesso a Monza speriamo di raggiungerlo di nuovo. Io farò il massimo e vediamo cosa avviene.
Thank you.
Alfio would just translate that for you quickly, saying yes, he did start the podium and he believes he can do it again here this afternoon. The Sicilian for the BVM racing team, car 9 starts out of grid 9. The grid looks like this. Look at this. Fast Freddie from the Midlands of England. Pole position on debut in the continent for the Prema Racing team. 2 out of grid 2. Zach David, Kasper Stuka on the 2nd row of the grid for the US racing team. Great performance from the Tuscan, Nicola Lacorte, who's alongside Arvid Lindblad, the Red Bull Junior, and then it's Rashid Al-Dahedi from the Emirates, who is alongside Ugo, the American, out of grid 8. Both those drivers for the Vicenza-based Prema Racing team. Alfio Spina, Tina Hausmann, we just heard from both of those drivers. They lock out the 5th row of the grid. 2 times deleted in qualifying for the driver from Melbourne, Australia. Jimmy James is alongside Akshay on the 6th row of the grid. Ricky Lou also for US Racing. Ivan Dominguez from Fatima in Portugal. Frederick Lund also for Van Amersfoort Racing alongside his teammate Brando Badouet back on grid 16 for PHM Racing. The tie is Nandavid Birambakti on debut in Formula 4, his first time racing at Monza, his first race in a year. The Peruvian Rafa Modenese, Pablo Sarazan and Enzo Delini, who was in the top 3 in first practice yesterday morning. Car 22, or grid 22, sorry, car 22, grid 20 for ACI Motorsport, Gianmarco Pradel. Aurelia Nobels, Griffin Peebles, one of 4 Australians in the field. One of 5 Italians is Flavio Olivieri out of grid 24 for the returning Creme Motorsport team. Diego Della Torre from Mexico. Giacomo Pedrini also makes his debut for PHM Racing. Davide Larini. Kai Dariani, who's been racing in the British F4 series, also for Creme Motorsport in car 97. The final row of the grid, another debutant in Continental Formula 4 from Sydney. It's Kamal Murad, who's alongside the Uzbek Ismail Ahmed on grid 30. The cars come out of Lesmo 2 down through Seraglio into Ascari chicane. Freddie Slater 6 days ago wrapped up the Ginetta Championship in his home country of England. Former World Kart Racing champion took a victory in the WSK Supermaster Series for the Birrell Art Racing team in KZ2. That was at Sarno earlier on in the year. His stellar kart racing career has sadly just come to an end. What a start to racing Formula 4 on the continent. Has had a race in the British F4 Series. This is the European Series, one of 3 rounds for 2023. Car 51, Fast Freddy, starts on pole position alongside Tuukka Tappinen. The championship sees the American Ugo Ugochukwu on 68 points. He took 2 victories at the first round of the championship at Mugello. James Wharton, he won race 3 before the summer break. He's second in the series on 48 points. Akshay Bora, P3 in the championship on 41 points. Kasper Stuka is 4th in the series. As we look at Pablo Sarrazin going through, the Van Amersfoort Racing Team driver in car 4, and Arvid Lindblad, the British driver, the Red Bull Junior, who's actually first in the Italian Championship. He is in position 5 of this, the European F4 Series. There is Slater, the ADD management driver. Great to catch up with Fraser Sheeter briefly at the circuit, who's managing the career of Freddie Slater. Fraser himself, a former international kart racer of note. Let's just say, well, a couple of years ago for the O'Neill Tony Kart Racing team, and doing a fine job of managing Freddie Slater's career, which is starting to mirror almost identically that of Lando Norris. A beautiful sunny afternoon here. The umbrella not needed for the rain, but for the sunshine here in the north of Italy. 4 days away officially from the end of summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. No chance of rain this afternoon as you look at the Englishman to the right of your screen. Fast Freddie Slater on pole position. Welcome to the home of the Italian F1 Grand Prix. Race 1, Round 2, the European F4 Championship presented by WSK Promotion. The 5 red lights for the first time here at Monza. We race. Super start from Tuukka Tappinen from the outside of the front row of the grid. Tries to go with Freddie Slater as they go wheel to wheel. Launching from the second row of the grid, it's the Filipino Zach David as the field come racing down into turn 1. The Prema Racing team started 1-2 on the grid, but it's the German US Racing team who come out of the first chicane in first and second place. Kai Dadiani going through the chicane in the background, a relatively clean start. As the field muscle for position, we go up into the Roger chicane for the first time. It is Casper from the second row of the grid in car 37 who's taken the race lead. That's his teammate just behind, Zachary David, who's got by the pole sitter. As they come out of the Rocher chicane, Tina's off into the gravel. Tina Hausmann from Zurich, who made a stunning run in qualifying to start grid 9, but she's lost 4 positions, and she slots in just ahead of Gianmarco Pradell, down through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2 for the first time. Casper has got the race lead. Tuukka has retaken second place. Then it's Slater. Zachary David, super start from the Tuscan. Nicola Lacorte is ahead of his American teammate Ugo Ugochukwu. What a start from the pole, who will start from pole position for both races 2 and 3 tomorrow here at Monza. Stuka, sensational as he comes out of the Ascari chicane for the first time. Down the back straight, tries to break the slipstream. There is Tuukka Tappinen in second place. Slater sits there in position 3. Sitting just behind Zachary David, that's Ugo Ugochukwu. And a move down the inside from car 17, Ivan Dominguez. Fighting with Bora, Ricky Liu, Pablo Sarrazin and Frederick Lund, Gianmarco Pradell, Tina Hausmann. As they come across the straight for the first time. One car, one of the PHM cars, into the wall at the exit of the Parabolica, big time in the background. We'll try and pick that up as they come down into the first chicane. Kasper Stuka in position 1. Tappinen, Slater. It may well have been. Actually, we'll just wait for official word from race control. For the moment, we stay green, and the gravel trap doing its job in the background as James Wharton tries to pick up places. We believe it was Ty, none other than Biram Bhakti, who's into the wall. The safety car is out onto the circuit. We'll try and get a replay as we've got cars coming together, clashing under yellow flag conditions. They may not have yet seen it. There's Rashid Al-Dahedi and Arvid Lindblad. Now the drivers finally get the message, and there is none David Biram-Bakhti. Fortunately, he is A-OK, and the tie is out before the end of the first lap. Race 1, round 2 of the 2023 European F4 Championship. We'll try and pick up a replay of what has happened. Kasper Stuka has got the race lead from Tappinen, Slater, Ugochukwu and Zachary David. Into the parabolica in the background, just gets it sideways. He wasn't the only one to go off. We believe it may have been Dariani. Into the wall, smack, and he's out, and the gravel trap does its job. Damage big time to car 57, the PHM racing team. Will have a lot of work to do for race 2 tomorrow morning. But the fortunate thing is none David Biram-Bakhti is okay. The safety car is out onto the circuit as we complete lap 2 under safety car conditions. This is race 1, round 2 of the 3-round European Formula 4 Championship. So we'll check the order for you as they come across the line. That was Enzo Tolini going through, incidentally. Had a good run in car 22. The French, Chinese, American driver, quite a mix. Huge international representation here. We've got the Pole from the Finn, the Englishman, an American, and the Maltese-based Filipino Zachary David in P5. Lecorte, good start from James Wharton, up into position 7. Remember, he started back on the 6th row of the grid. Rafa Modenese on debut in European Formula 4 has just come into pit lane, minus the front wing. In fact, it was the Peruvian having his first ever Formula 4 race who was caught up incidentally with that accident with none David Biram-Bakhti. Diego De La Torre, the Mexican, going through in position 27 in car 86. Down into the Roger chicane, Kasper Stuka, 4th in the championship on 37 points. Ugochukwu is the championship leader. It is the first of 3 races this weekend, the second round of the 2023 championship, the all-new European F4 Series, not to be confused with any national championship. Does have the same management, WSK Promotion, which have managed the Italian championship since 2014. This effectively has nothing to do with that. This is an all-new championship, a 3-round championship. Incidentally, 2024, the calendar has been announced. The second season of the European or the Euro 4 Series. To be confirmed, provisionally, we start in the east of Europe at the Hungaroring before going to Mugello, the Red Bull Ring, the fabulous Red Bull Ring in Austria, and back here in Monza on the 6th of October. That's 2024, the Euro F4 Series, the second season, but we're only partway through this, the first season of this, the world's most competitive junior single-seater category. The Formula 4 Championship, launched by the FIA back in 2013. 30 cars on the grid, up from 26 at the first round of the championship. The Emirati going through, Rashid Al-Dahedi just ahead of the Sicilian. Spinner, 2 Italians, Brando Badoer is just behind. Then it's Bora, Dominguez, Pablo Sarrazin, ahead of Enzo Tolini. The 2 French drivers, 14-15 from the People's Republic of China, Ricky Liu. Frederick Lund, the Costa Rican Dane, is ahead of Gianmarco Bredel. Tina Hausmann, she's dropped back to 19 after running wide. Hausmann in car 21 in position 19 after starting grid 10 for race 1 here. She's ahead of Olivieri, Aurelio Nobels, Griffin Peebles. Pedrini, that's Giacomo, son of former Porsche Carrera Cup racer Andrea Pedrini. Ismail Ahmed. Kamal Murad, who was racing, only turned 15 years of age, did Kamal, from Sydney, Australia. Just a couple of months ago, has been racing in the European Rotax Series. The B&L Series with the GKS Lemons team, the famous GKS Lemons team. He's is in position 25 ahead of Davide Larini, Diego Della Torre and Rafa Montanese, who has just pitted for a new front wing in car 10 for the Van Amersfoort racing team. Another lap under the safety car as we clear up, well, the mess from that big crash involving none David Birambakti. You may remember once upon a time there was acres of asphalt runoff on the outside of the Parabolica. As you look at Flavio Olivieri going through, car 96 for the Grand Motorsport team. So we finally get word that the safety car will come into pit lane at the end of the lap. Much less forgiving now. You can see the gravel trap. It's only taken a generation, a couple of decades to realise what we've had for the best part of a century in motorsport has worked pretty well. And we're reinstalling gravel traps around the world, including here at Monza, the outside of the Parabolica. Go wide, and that will be the fate of your race, as none David Birambakti has found out. So the safety car gets ready to come in at the end of this lap. Kasper Stuka from the second row of the grid, ahead of Tuukka Tappinen, the Ferrari Junior, and fast Freddie Slater, the former World Kart Racing champion. So much success with the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. And as we mentioned, also took pole position on debut in KZ2 at just 14 years of age in the WSK Supermaster Series earlier on in 2023. Pole position here for race 1 this afternoon, car 51. That is Rashid Al Bahedi from Abu Dhabi. The Huawei-backed car 14 started at grid 7. He's dropped back a couple of positions. Arvid Lindblad, the Red Bull Junior, as Kasper Stuka starts to back the field up. He'll look to jump as they come up into the Parabolica. The safety car about to pull into pit lane. This is race 1 of 3. Round 2, the 2023 Euro 4 Championship presented by WSK Promotion. Kasper backs the field up. They cannot pass until they start, or they cross the start-finish line under the control of our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, who waves the green flag right now. Kasper from the second row of the grid is in position 1. Look at the Prema Racing team trio right behind Tuukka, Freddie and Ugo Ugochukwu. Now the yellow flag is finally withdrawn on the outside. We have already gone green. He waits to the last possible moment to try and break the slipstream, but Tuukka, the Finn, goes with him. The green flag flies, and once again, we race green here at Monza. Good getaway from Kasper, but Tuukka Tappinen will get the slipstream. They were topping 247 k's an hour through qualifying down the main straight here at Monza, down into turn 1. There is Slater on the back of Tappinen. Kasper puts car 37 in the middle of the road, locks up the front right, but the pole goes through and he's got the race lead. It looks as though Nicola Lacorte has gone straight through the chicane. He's not the only one. Once again, we've got carnage down into turn 1. We'll pick that up for you. There is Spinner on the outside. He's Enzo Deligny. Kasper under enormous pressure, but the pole has got the race lead from Tuukka Tappinen. There is Lacorte. James Swarton with one almighty dive down the inside of David. Can't quite do it. This is not the cleanest restart in history, but Kasper Stuka, no problem. Oh boy, that's the end of the race. Big time for Ismail Ahmed. The Uzbek out with a severely damaged Van Amersfoort Racing team car. Hopefully that is off the racing line. For the moment, it is just a local yellow. Deligny going through ahead of Sarazan, Pradel, Lou, Olivieri, and once again, oh boy, the safety car inevitably is out on track again. That's the reason why Ismail Ahmed, 3 wheels on the wagon, and the Uzbek is out. Steps out of the car, he is okay. So a frustrating start to the weekend here at Monza. There is Ismail Ahmed, the Eastern European driver. The Uzbek Motorsport Federation also assisting him racing here in the Euro F4 series. But he joins the tie, none David Birambakti, as the second retirement for the first of 3 races here this afternoon at Monza. There's Biram Bhakti's car to the right of your screen, dragged onto the historic old banking, which was used up until 1969 and just survived proposed demolition in the 1990s. Fortunately, for history's sake, it is still there. This is the restart. Kasper Stuka goes through, but look at the carnage in the background. Ismail Ahmed smack into the back. It looked as though it was Giacomo Pedrini. This will give us a better view. Oh! Yep, that's the reason why. Ismail Ahmed, the corner came up very quickly and he took out Giacomo Pedrini in, well, let's say quite obvious fashion. Slightly, I won't say cold tyres because it is a warm afternoon here. Track temperature just over 40 degrees Celsius. It is 24 degrees Celsius. The air temperature here on the fourth last day of summer in 2023. Ismail Ahmed smack into the back of Giacomo Pedrini. We'll see if the Italian on debut in the Euro 4 series has also got damage for the moment. He has continued on. We'll try a start again for the third time in just a moment. The order remains Kasper Stuka, P1 from the second row of the grid for the US racing team. Tuukka Tappinen, Freddie Slater, Nicola Lacorte, he's got up into position 4. Ugo Ugochukwu, the championship leader, car 3, P5. Zachary David, James Wharton from the sixth row of the grid. Lindblad Baduao, who qualified back on grid 16, car 15's in P9, and Rashid Aldeheri in P10. Then it's Bora, Spinner, Dominguez, Sarazan, Delini, Pradel, Olivieri, and Ricky Lou. Here's Rashid Aldeheri, multiple WSK International kart racing champion. Kasper, P1, will back the field up down the back straight at barely more than walking pace at the moment. He controls the pace. Once again, our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, watching on from race control here at Monza. The safety car pulls into pit lane. The green flag will wave imminently. The green flag waves right now. They cannot pass until they start or pass the start-finish line. The Prema trio, they were second, third and fourth. They're now second, third, fourth and fifth, but it's the driver from Poland for the US racing team in P1, Kasper Stuka. Stares at the left side mirror. The track is green. It was waved green just over 10 seconds ago. He waits until the last possible moment. And now the pole goes. He's got not one, not two, not three, but 4 Prema Racing Team drivers chasing him down, and then his US racing teammate, Zachary David. There's Nicola Lacorte on the outside of the pole sitter, Freddie Slater. Let's hope that we get through cleanly. There's Tina Hausman going through. Kasper Stuka feints to the right. Tappinen tries the outside. Can he do it? What a restart. Oh, he's taking him. Disregard the 2 Prema drivers that shortcut the chicane. The battle for first and second is between Kasper Stuka, who's trying to slot his way back in. This is not the cleanest restart in history. I know I said that a few moments ago. Kasper Stuka was passed by 1 Prema car legitimately, and now he's trying the outside of Freddie Slater. Runs out of road. They touch down into the Roche chicane. Now he cuts the chicane. Kasper Stuka in position 1 with 4 Prema cars breathing down his neck. There is Arvid Lindblad in the background. Zachary David's there as well. Brando Baduer with a good restart. Spinner, Bora, Dominguez, Sarazan, and Enzo Delini. Freddie has retaken the race lead after qualifying on pole position for the first time here this weekend. Lindblad tries to cover off just behind. Alfio Spinner in car 9. There's Enzo Delini just behind him in car 22. Down through the Ascari chicane. Tina Hausman picks up another position, starting to recover as we have a look at Ugo on the inside of Nicola Lacorte. His teammates ahead, and behind him is James Wharton, desperate to try and make up places as we get news that passing under the yellow flag, under investigation potentially, cars 23 and 14, which is Rashid Al-Baheri and also Ahmed Lindblad. The Prema teammates go side by side. Down the main straight, it is Freddie Slater in P1. Kasper Stuka, the early race leader, just behind Lacorte, Ugochukwu, Wharton, and Zachary David. Tuka's in trouble. Tuka Tappanen going slowly down the back straight. And the former World Kart Racing champion with a left rear puncher. Tuka Tappanen, who was in P2, is effectively out. Freddie Slater with the race lead just on debut in the Euro F4 Championship. Now we finally settle into a rhythm going down through the Rocha chicane. David on the outside, he's got damage to the right rear. Zachary David in trouble. There's Bora, his teammate. Spinner, Dominguez, and a good drive from Pablo Sarazan. Ahmed Lindblad on the inside of Nicola Lacorte, but Lindblad is under investigation. 31 for the US racing team is Bora. They go under the old banking, down through Seraglio. Freddie Slater. Kasper Stuka. Then it's Ugo, the championship leader, 2 wide, 3 right. The 2 Venomous Ford racing teammates, Brando Badoer and Ivan Dominguez. Inside the top 10, the 2 teammates go side by side. And there is Tuka Tappanen out of the car, so there's more damage than just a puncher. Damage to the left rear suspension as well. 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide down the back straight. There is Rashid Al-Baheri. Spinner tries to take his former adversary in WSK World Karting, and Gianmarco Brodel starts to make his presence felt as well. Car 12 in position 13. Slater, Stuka, and Ugochukwu. That Spinner for BVM Racing tries to split Rashid Al-Baheri. Pablo Sarazan and Nicola Lacorte has also got damage. The Tuscan has just pulled into pit lane off screen. Nicola Lacorte, who qualified grid 7, is also out of race 1 here at Monza. Kasper Stuka in second place with the fastest lap of the race so far, approaching 250 k's an hour on one of the fastest circuits in Europe. And still the Van Amersfoort racing teammates go side by side. They both shortcut the chicane. Well, that's the fast way through, even if it is not exactly legitimate. Brando Badoer in car 15, Ivan Dominguez, the Portuguese driver, in 17. They're in 7th and 8th position. Rashid Al-Baheri, who himself is under investigation, will have seen that. And he has lost a good half a second as the VAR duo just went straight through the chicane, which used to have a gravel trap on the inside and the outside as well. There's Stuka down through the Ascari chicane. Behind Slater, the race leader, who goes a little bit wide. Is an opportunity for Kasper. We'll get the slipstream as they go up the back straight. Just a moment to go. And that's what's cost Zachary David and Nicola Lacorte also coming together. They are both out of this one, as is Tuka Tappanen, Ismail Ahmed and Biram Bakhti. Slater. There's Nicola Lacorte. Steps out of car 47, the Tuscan. Is out of race 1 here this weekend. Slater under attack though from Kasper Stuka, who makes the move up the inside. Freddie goes deep under brakes, but can't do it. Kasper, who started on the second row of the grid, retakes position 1. The Prema drivers 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And then the second US racing car, Bora in 6th place, Bathaway 7. From grid 16, if you don't mind as well. There's Aurelia Nobels going through. Just ahead of the Mexican Diego de la Torre. Kasper, as Freddie retries to take the place, goes straight ahead through the chicane. In the background, Kasper has retaken the lead. Ugochukwu tries to take advantage of that, and then James Wharton from the 6th row of the grid, charging through the field, up into 4th place. Kasper Stuka has still got the race lead just. I'm trying to think of the correct words, the most diplomatic words. Let's just say when there's walls like there are at Monaco and various other circuits, well, going straight through the chicane is simply not an option. Kasper Stuka sideways down through the Ascari chicane. He's fought his way back into the lead. This is into Roja, Slater on the outside, which becomes the inside. Kasper has retaken the lead. This is not the cleanest race in history. Regardless, we carry on as we go into the dying stages of the first of 3 races. Round 2, the 2023 Euro 4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion. Kasper has retaken the lead, and now Ugo tries to take his teammate on debut, Freddie Slater, as they come across the line at almost 250 kilometres an hour. Ugo and Freddie almost touch. Watch Arvid on the outside of James. Kasper has got the race lead as the 4 Prema drivers fight, and Lindblad takes Wharton. There's Bora in P6. Brando from grid 16 up into P7 with a 1:53.282 into the Rocha chicane. The gap is 0.3 of a second between Kasper, Ugo and Freddie Slater. There is James Wharton, the Ferrari Junior to the Red Bull Junior, and then Bora in car 31 for the US racing team just behind. Lindblad tries to retake the place from Wharton, but now he has to worry about the driver from New York, USA, the 2nd driver from New York. It is Akshay Bora in car 31 for the US racing team. Wharton back into position 4. Down through what used to be a chicane 100 years ago, down through Saraglio, back when cars were nothing like they are now, and that slight curve meant the drivers had to get out of the throttle decades and decades ago. Now down through Ascari chicane, onto the back straight. Lindblad, who's actually P1 in the Italian Championship, in car 23 in position 5. These are the 2 teammates in 2nd and 3rd, the 4 Prema teammates, and there's Bora in the background. The dying stages of the first of 3 races this weekend. Spinner going through ahead of Gianmarco Pradel. And there's damage to the Prema driver, who's about to pull into pit lane. Kasper Stuka under attack from the championship leader, Ugo Ugochukwu. Slater, the dream run is about to come to an end because the Englishman pulls into pit lane with a broken front wing as Ugo Ugochukwu, the championship leader in the Euro 4 Series, attacks Kasper Stuka. Spinner ahead of Gianmarco Pradel, behind Rashid Al-Bahedi and the Portuguese driver Ivan Dominguez. Slater, after that stunning, sensational qualifying run this morning, P1 for race 1, the 2nd round of the Euro 4 Series, into pit lane with a broken front wing. He will rejoin, but at best will be position 25. Ugo, the American, trying to attack the back of Kasper Stuka. Just under 4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Slater's out and race 1 is over. For the driver on debut in the Euro 4 Series. 6 days ago, crowned champion of England in the Ginetta Junior Series. But his afternoon comes to an end. We'll see him back on track for races 2 and 3 tomorrow. Gianmarco Pradel on the outside of Alfio Siena, down into the Ascari chicane. The Australian behind the Sicilian. Gianmarco, car 12, now into position 10 inside the points. 3 minutes plus 1 lap remaining as Kasper Stuka has to defend still from Ugo Ugochukwu. The McLaren Junior for the Prema Racing team behind Kasper Stuka. In the Italian series before the summer break at Paul Ricard in the south of France, Kasper took 3 victories from 3 starts. Gerhard Unger himself engineering that car. Racing down the start-finish straight. at just under 250 k's an hour, 247, 246. Arvid Lindblad on the inside of James Wharton. The Red Bull Junior retakes the place from the Ferrari Junior. And it's Bora Badouea Aldehedi back into position 7 for the Emirati. That's exactly where he started on the grid. Dominguez, Spinner, and Gianmarco Pradel. The gap stays at just on a car length, 0.4. Lindblad on the inside of James. Through the Rocher chicane again. Well, make up your mind. Lindblad from Bora Badouea. They go down through the Lesmo curves. Kasper Stuka, Ugochukwu. Then it's Wharton and Lindblad, both driving for the Prema Racing team, who have 8 cars represented here this weekend. I can tell you that car 96 has also come into pit lane. Flavio Olivieri with a right rear puncher. There is multiple contact. You can see the gravel on the outside of the Ascari curve. This has not been the cleanest race in history. Kasper Stuka, though, will be desperate to get to the checkered flag and take his 4th victory in Formula 4 racing in a row if we go back towards or before the summer break. Nice move up the inside, and Brando picks up another one. Takes Bora for P5. So down the start-finish straight. Ugochukwu, the McLaren Junior, on the back of the pole, who started on the second row of the grid. There's Lindblad. Wharton has dropped back to P6. Ugochukwu has half a look at Kasper Stuka. James on the inside, the US Racing drivers. Well, one of the VAR drivers going straight through the chicane again. Kasper, fastest lap of the race of 53.273. As Ricky Liu also comes into pit lane, also with damage to the front wing of car 66. Down into the Rocher chicane. Is there anybody with a clean car, a clean record in this, the first of 3 races this weekend? That's Enzo Deligny coming through ahead of it. Tina Houseman. Griffin Peebles next. Lund, Nobels. They've all had a good run, a good clean run, those 4 drivers. There's 5 drivers. Diego Della Torre is next. Larini. And also a good run from Kamal Murad. Only his 5th ever day driving a Formula 4 car, car 6 in position 18 in this 30-car field. Down through the Ascari chicane. It is still Kasper Stuka, last lap next time round. As we see Ivan Dominguez fighting with Bora, and he's taken him for P5 for the moment. Last lap, Kasper Stuka, who has kept his car clean, and the same can be said for Ugochukwu, the championship leader. 9 races, 3 rounds for the 2023 Euro 4 Championship. On the outside, just tries to do it. Gianmarco Pradel in the background as well. That's Alfio Spinner. As we start the last lap of the first race here this weekend, the Euro 4 Championship in beautiful sunshine here at Monza in the north of Italy. Kasper Stuka surely will take victory from here. Lindblad trying to catch the leading duo, but he's 2.2 seconds back. Then we go to Wharton, who's back into position 4 now. Dominguez, Bora, Rashid Aldehedi. Gianmarco Pradel, that's this battle with Brando Badouea and the Sicilian Alfio Spinner. The gap is 0.3 of a second. Lindblad is catching the leaders, but he'll run out of time. Wharton in position 4 from grid 12. There's his countryman, Gianmarco Pradel. Car 12 in P9 and car 9 in P10. It is Il Siciliano, Alfio Spinner. Ugo loses another 1/10 of a second as they come out of Lesmo 2. There is Arvid, who is absolutely flying in the background down through Saraglio under the historic abandoned old banking here at Monza into the Ascari chicane. Kasper Stuka, who started out of grid 4 for the US Racing team, works the steering wheel, stays off the ripple strip. Now goes on to the back straight, absolutely flat. Rashid Al-Bahedi, car 14, position 7, ahead of Brando Paduea. And Gianmarco Pradel into the Michele Alboreto Parabolica. For the final time, Ugo, the McLaren Junior, the championship leader, tries to take him. Kasper Stuka comes out of the Michele Alboreto Parabolica for the final time. He has driven superbly. He's avoided the carnage. And the US racing driver from Poland races across the line to take the checkered flag and victory in race 1, round 2, the Euro 4 Championship here at Monza. Ugo Ugochukwu, the McLaren Junior, extends his lead in the championship with P2 and a storming drive from Arvid Lindblad, fastest lap of the race, for the Red Bull Junior to stand on the final step of the podium. US Racing, the Polish driver for this, the German team in the north of Italy, in the Euro 4 Championship, take victory. They're back on top in the Euro 4 Championship race. Well, the second round, the first race this weekend, here in the final days of summer 2023. Kasper Stuka takes victory ahead of Ugo Ugochukwu and David Lindblad. Perfect drive from the Orland-backed junior, Kasper Stuka. His third and final year racing Formula 4, started the 2023 racing season with victory in the Formula Winter Series down on the Iberian Peninsula. And he's back into contention for the Euro 4 Championship. This is the victor of the fourth of 9 races for 2023. He will stand on the top step of the podium where Max stood exactly 13 days ago. Ugo Ugochukwu, 2 race wins and a second place at Mugello, the first round of the Euro 4 Championship. Another second place, so Ugo, the American, 2 P1s, 2 second places, and with that he cements his lead in the Euro 4 Championship. There is the race winner, Kasper Stuka, car 37 for the US racing team. As we confirm the results, the driver from Poland in position 1, the American in second place, and the Red Bull Junior from the Kings England on the final step of the podium. A great recovery from James, the first of 4 Australians. Position 4 from grid 12, head of Bora, Dominguez, Rashid Al-Bahedi, Badoer, Pradel, and Spinner with a final point. Enzo Tellini, good drive from him to finish in P11. Head of Tina Hausmann, who recovered. She fell back to 19th off the start. Griffin Peebles, Frederick Lund, Aurelia Nobels, Diego Della Torre, Larini, Giacomo Petrini, as we see Ugo Ugochukwu extend his lead in the championship. 86 points to 62 for Kasper Stuka. James, still in contention, just 2 points behind on 60 in third place. Not the cleanest race in history, if we're honest about it. 2 safety car interventions. But Kasper Stuka back on top. And the pole wins race 1 for that, the US racing team here at Monza.
What a drive.
Congratulated by Ugo, who still does have the championship lead. There is the race winner. Congratulated by Mr. Raffaele Jean-Maria. Kasper Stuka second in the championship on 62 points. And we're about to hear from the race winner, Kasper Stuka, who's down with Laura Cola in pit lane.
So, race run great, especially in the direct fights when your opponents.
Yeah, it was a really good race. I mean, I didn't expect to go to P1 at the start. So yeah, the launch was really good. Then yeah, lots of fights, some contacts. But yeah, it was a really fun race, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
take a look at the highlights of the first of 3 races here this weekend. Freddie Slater starting from pole position for Kasper Stuka from the outside second row of the grid. Race down into turn 1 to take the lead away from the Prema drivers. Down into the first chicane. Locked up the front right, it would be of no consequence. The big incident though was none other than Podium. The tyre went by and then ultimately into the wall at the Michele Alboreto Parabolica before the end of the first lap. That was Podium into the wall in the background. Fortunately, he was okay. Damage to car 57 and the PHM racing team with a lot of work to do tomorrow. On the restart, Ismail Ahmed smack into the back of Pedrini, and the Uzbek was out, and that brought out the safety car for the second time as Freddie Slater took the lead briefly from Kasper Stuka. They went side by side and then straight ahead, ultimately through the chicane. Kasper Stuka taking the race lead, eventually with a move around the outside of the pole sitter, Freddie Slater down the back straight. Fighting into the chicane, there was barely a lap where any driver went straight through on the correct racing line. Slater with Ugachuku, his American teammate behind him, who was almost into the grass to avoid his English teammate Kasper Stuka back in front. From there, the pole would hold the race lead. He took the victory by 0.3 of a second. Ugo Ugachuku on the podium in second place and still with the lead in the championship. But Kasper Stuka, position 1 in race 1 here this afternoon at Monza.
What a drive.
Kasper will also start on pole position for both races 2 and 3 tomorrow. So make sure you join us for those, starting with race 2 tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. local time. The podium in just a moment as the drivers walk the famous gantry here at Monza. A beautiful afternoon, the final days of summer 2023. And we are expecting sunshine, fortunately, because it is always chaotic when it rains here at Monza. For races 2 and 3 tomorrow. The second round of 2023, the 2023 Euro 4 Championship. The drivers come across the gantry here at Monza. Third place, and with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:53 dead, an average speed of 184 k's an hour. It is the Red Bull Junior, Arvid Lindblad, in car 23, in position 3 in race 1 here this weekend. Arvid's still making his way up to the podium. Here he comes, the suit goes up. Does the suit up as he makes his way onto the screen here. There is Arvid, position 3. Ugo Ugachuku, position 2 in the championship lead. The winner of the first race, the second round of the Euro 4 Championship for the US racing team, it's Kasper Stuka. England, position 3, the United States of America in second, and the Eastern European, the pole for the German team here in the north of Italy in the Euro 4 Championship. Kasper, P1 here at Monza.
E adesso è tempo per l'inno nazionale, National Anthem. Aspettiamo un attimo per l'inno nazionale del vincitore. Inno nazionale.
Kasper Stuka wins the first of 3 races here this weekend in the second round of the Euro 4 Championship. And the pole will start from pole position for both races 2 and 3 tomorrow. Make sure you join us at race 2, 10:30 local time, live from Monza. We'll see you then.